Thanks for coming. So my name is Emily. I was out in the field last week showing you some ginseng, and the week before looking at some decaying trees. But this week I am the host from my home. Darcy's out in the woods this weekend, so I'm going to be taking over as the MC for our Zoom trip today. And we have 3 friends in the field right now. We have Joe, Maggie, and Mia, and they'll introduce themselves soon. Just a little bit of Zoom etiquette before we get started learning about caterpillars. You should have all come into the Zoom meeting muted, and I know a lot of you are experts at virtual field trips now. So if Joe or Mia or Maggie asks you a question and you want to respond or you have something to share, you need to unmute yourself by going to the bottom left-hand corner and pressing that little microphone, and then you should be able to talk and everyone can hear you. And I would just ask that when you're done talking, if you could remute yourself, that way people don't hear your background noise when someone else is trying to talk. And then if you have any questions while people are presenting, you can throw them in the chat and I'll make sure that our presenters get them. Or if you have any comments or just something cool to share and you don't want to say it out loud, you can throw it in the chat so everyone can see it. All right, I'm ready to learn about some caterpillars. What do you think, Joe? Are you ready to take over with some caterpillars?
No, maybe we should reschedule.
Bummer. All right, y'all. See you all next week.
Yeah, we're ready. Thank you, Emily. Well, hello, everybody. So I'm Joe, and we've also got a couple other people out here with us.
Maggie.
Got Maggie, and we got Mia. She's out standing in her field. So we're up here on the ridges in Athens, and we're, well, you guys tell me, what's the habitat like here? Feel free to unmute yourselves or pop something in the chat. It does look dry, doesn't it? What else you notice about this habitat?
Very grassy and.
I think I see milkweed.
Yeah, very grassy. We see some milkweed. Good. Anything else? You're getting the 360 view here. Hopefully nobody's getting seasick. Okay. Good. It's dry, it's grassy, we got some milkweed and some trees, of course, right? Okay, well, we're gonna be searching for caterpillars. So just wanted to ask at first, what you think a caterpillar is. And I don't have any right answer in mind. Just want to know what you think.
It's a bug.
It's a bug.
Kind of bug that's long and it has lots of legs. Sticky feet.
He's like a worm bug, but he turns into a butterfly, and he's very cute. And some of them are itching. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes they're furry.
What was that? Some caterpillars are furry?
Yeah.
Hey, you guys are good. So someone said they turn into a butterfly. Is there anything else that a caterpillar can turn into?
A moth.
Good. A moth, exactly. So, what was that?
I was just telling her that she was unmuted so she could participate.
Oh. Okay.
Some caterpillars are dangerous.
That's true. Some caterpillars can give you a really bad sting. Okay, I want to ask you one more question before we look at some actual caterpillars. So you guys described them really well. They're bugs. They're kind of long with a lot of legs. Some of them are furry. Why would they be caterpillars before they become butterflies or moths? Why do you think they would do such a thing? And again, I don't have a right answer. I just want to know what you think.
They have to eat.
Yeah.
Like don't exactly eat, they drink.
They've got to eat.
Some caterpillars live on milkweed.
Exactly. That's a great connection to what we're going to show today. So we're going to show some of those caterpillars that feed on milkweed. Okay, so they're caterpillars because they got to eat.
I want it here.
Any any other ideas? Those are really good. Okay, then let the tour begin.
Here
Okay,
we have our smaller caterpillar.
okay. So you guys might recognize this plant. It's called common milkweed. And they have these big leaves that are usually green. And if you break them open, which we'll do here in a little bit, but they have some milky sap in them. So that's where it gets its name, milkweed. And I don't know if you see this, but there's a little evidence here of a caterpillar spending some time on this plant. What is that?
That's poopy.
That's poopy.
Dung. There's
Exactly.
dung. Lots of dung.
This caterpillar dung. It has a special name if you want to learn it. It's called frass.
Glass.
So,
Glass.
any type of insect poop you can call frass and sound very scientific. So yeah, you can almost tell there's just leaves that are chewed up and digested a little bit. Okay, so here's the culprit. Here's the one who's been eating the milkweed.
Oh my god, it's on a milkweed pod.
Yeah, it's actually eating the pod, which I don't see very often.
Yeah, me either. I've never seen a monarch caterpillar eating a milkweed pod. It's a monarch.
Yeah, so if you look at the rest of the plant, there really aren't any more leaves for it to eat. So I wonder if that's why it's eating.
Really cool.
Yeah, so, and someone already said it, but remind me again what kind of caterpillar this is?
Monarch.
Monarch caterpillar.
It's the monarch. Which end is the head and which end is the butt?
The one at the bottom's the head, and the one at the top's the butt. It's hard to tell.
I'm pretty
Yeah.
sure the one with the longer antennas is the head.
The antenna is the head.
Yep, you're right. But you can see there are also some antennas on the butt.
Yeah, which is weird.
And there's actually a reason for that. And a lot of caterpillars have some kind of mechanism for this, but those butt antennae are to try to trick bird predators into thinking that their butt's their head. So if they get attacked, they would rather lose a little piece of the back than, you know, if a bird ate their head off, that would kill them.
That's really
So,
smart.
Very smart. Yeah. And then one other kind of amazing thing about these caterpillars is that they're eating a plant that is that's poisonous to us. So if you or I ate some of these milkweed leaves, they have a toxin in there that affects our heart, and the same thing is true of other mammals. Maggie, would you mind breaking off a little piece of that leaf so maybe we can see some of the milky sap?
Mm-hmm.
Good, good. Yeah, see how it's coming right out of there?
Oh, yeah.
So that's where it gets its name, and that's poisonous to us. It's okay to touch a little bit of it, but I wouldn't.
Don't put my finger in my mouth.
Exactly, yeah. Exactly.
So many reasons these days.
That's right. So how do you think the caterpillars can do that?
They have a special digest things. They have a special belly that can digest it.
I have a pestle system like pandas. They can eat bamboo and shit.
Yeah, I don't think there's a better way to say it than that they have a special belly. That's a beautiful way to put it. And they didn't just get that ability overnight. Monarchs have been eating milkweed for millions of years. So it took them a long time to develop kind of a resistance to this. And the milkweed is always trying to be more toxic so that it doesn't get eaten. And so one thing that's going on here from that is that these caterpillars actually become poisonous to birds and other mammals. So if I ate these caterpillars out here, I would get sick. So it's pretty neat that the the caterpillars can do that. It's kind of one of their superpowers. But you guys, they can only eat milkweed. There's a few different species of it, but they can't eat anything other than milkweed.
There's this vine in my backyard, and there's a lot of Monarch caterpillars on it, and I don't know if it's a milkweed vine or something.
Wow, awesome. It is a milkweed vine, even though it's a little bit different than most milkweeds, but it's called honey vine. And yeah, the monarchs can eat that too. It's pretty cool. And even though the leaves don't look anything like the milkweed we're looking at, if you wait until the winter, you should be able to see the pods, the seed pods. They should look pretty similar on the honey vine. Great observation.
Are there other caterpillars that sometimes live on milkweeds? I've found some funny looking furry ones.
Yeah, there are, and Mia was saying she found some of those out here earlier this week, but we haven't found any yet this morning. But when we get to our field guide, maybe we can show a picture of these anyway. But there's one called the Milkweed Tussock moth, and the caterpillars are actually the same colors as the monarch caterpillars, but they're arranged in a different way.
Guess what? One time we saw a leaf, a monarch, a milkweed leaf covered in caterpillars. It was like covered.
Oh, that sounds crazy. Did you get a picture of that?
No, but it was
Wow.
like a quarter of it was gone, and then like the rest of it was just covered in caterpillars.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sounds like they were having a feast.
Hey Joe, someone messaged me that the milky stuff inside a milkweed plant can be used to remove warts on a person. So
Whoa.
maybe not good to eat, but could be good to remove some warts on your skin if you got those.
Okay, let's give everyone on the field trip a wart. We'll send it in the mail. You can see if it works. Wow, that's great to know. Mia, what are we looking at here?
Here, there's a monarch caterpillar having some lunch or maybe a late breakfast. And on the leaf below, there's some frass.
Whoa, that's a lot of frass.
It's a lot of frass. He's been going to town on the leaf.
So you can kind of see it actually eating almost. I don't know if it's blurry or not.
It looks like a smiley face.
It is. It's making a smiley face for you guys. So why do you think they're hanging out on the underside of the leaf? Why wouldn't they be on the top?
Maybe it's safer for them.
Yeah, it's hidden.
Mm-hmm. It's hidden. Safer.
Hidden, safer, and a bit shadier.
Yeah, shadier I think is also important because if they were, up here in the sun, they could get dried out. Especially since we observed this is already a pretty dry area. So yeah, they probably really have to conserve some moisture. Wow, that's a lot of frass. Probably weighs almost as much as the caterpillar. Okay, well, we're going to take a look at a couple other milkweed plants, and then we're going to show a couple different ways to look for caterpillars, and hopefully we'll see a couple of other species. But I want to ask you a question that there is a right answer to, but I want to hear some guesses. How many different species of caterpillars do you think there are, like in a typical or a normal area here in Southeast Ohio, like a normal forest? How many different kinds do you think there are?
20?
20? Great guess.
60. 2,100.
2,100? That's actually pretty darn close. Yeah, like if you lived on a few acres of forest, you might have anywhere around 1,200 to 1,500 species. And that's butterflies and moths. So there are so many different kinds out here. And so one thing I want to make sure to get across is that usually butterfly caterpillars, wow, it's looking irritated. It's like kind of slashing its head around at me. I'll give him a little distance. But usually butterfly caterpillars focus on like one or two or just a handful of plants that the caterpillars can eat. Whereas a lot of moths can eat just about anything. Okay. So what are some advantages you think to kind of specializing like the butterflies, or just being able to eat a couple different types of plants? How would that be a good thing for these caterpillars? Any ideas? We can always come back to that question. It's a tough one. Okay, well, let me ask you this. What's the advantage to the moth caterpillars of being able to eat just about any plant?
They can have more, they can grow more, and they can eat more, and
Yeah. They don't have to.
More food for them.
What's that?
There will always be more food for them.
That's right. They don't have to go around searching for milkweed specifically like the monarchs do. They could eat a lot of different stuff, so it'd be easier to find a place to lay eggs if you're an adult female. Okay. Well, hopefully we can find a couple more things that'll help answer that question. So we got a couple other big monarch caterpillars here.
I have a question.
All right, Maggie's got a question.
So I'm noticing, like you all noticed, that the head is kind of at the bottom of the leaf and the butt is at the top. So why do they orient themselves upside down?
Well, great question. Why are they upside down? Give us some thoughts here. Anybody have a guess?
I don't know the answer to my own question. So.
That's perfect. Neither do I.
to confuse predators.
To confuse predators? That seems like a good hypothesis.
Yeah, because they would like usually the head would be up at the top, but they put their butt up there instead.
Brilliant. Mia, was that your thought also?
Yeah, I was thinking that would make them less vulnerable
Mm-hmm.
to predators.
Most certainly could. Okay, well, there's one other thing you guys got to see here. It's kind of gruesome, but that's nature. So this was a monarch caterpillar, but can you see what it's attached to?
Spiderweb.
That's right. It's attached to a spider web. And when we first got here, the spider was still feeding on it, still eating it. And it has since disappeared. But it was a really cool orange spider.
Wow, the caterpillar.
Why is it brown?
Mm-hmm.
It's a great question. So when the spiders eat things, they kind of their bite has this stuff in it that that turns the caterpillar into like a milkshake, and the spiders can just suck out the milkshake. So when the spider bit this caterpillar, it probably just dissolved the part of the skin that has the color in it. But you can still see there's a little bit of color on the left side there. Great question. Mia, do you want to ask your question that you thought of this morning too about monarchs and color?
Oh, yes. One question I had was, why are the butterflies, monarch butterflies, orange and black, but the caterpillars are yellow, black, and white? And I don't know the answer.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? The adult butterflies are a totally different color than the caterpillars, which is actually, now that Mia asked that, I realize that's true of a lot of these species. Pretty crazy. Any ideas?
Maybe it's to show they're toxic.
To show they're toxic? Yeah, that could definitely be a part of it.
Warning sign or...
Well, we got a couple other things to show you here in this bucket. We did a little bit of collecting beforehand. And
I know that about that color question.
Yeah.
Before they become orange and black, and after they're yellow and white and green, they're green. I wonder if that change has something to do with it. I don't know.
Like while they're in the chrysalis?
Yeah, and right before they go into the chrysalis, they shed their skin, and the pupa that's not yet hardened is also green.
Wow, so there's not very many colors they aren't throughout their whole life cycle. All right, we got another caterpillar here that... Mia, where'd you find this one?
I found this one in my driveway at my house. And I think one of my favorite parts or aspects to looking for caterpillars is that you really just have to take your time and be fully present and aware of your surroundings. Otherwise, I wouldn't have seen this little guy. I might have even run him over with my car because he was in my driveway.
Is it an inchworm? Because it kind of looks like one.
He's pretty big.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good hypothesis. We don't know exactly what this one is, but I'm going to show you something I think might be close to it. Well, first of all, what do you see? What colors are on there? Are there any other markings?
It does look like it's green. Just looks like it's green.
I noticed it has kind of like little bumps on it.
Definitely little bumps. Does it have any hairs on it? That's one thing to look out for. Well, here's one idea. Although it looks like it does have stripes, but the stripes actually look kind of pinkish. But this is one possibility, because you have white pine trees at your house, right?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, this field guide is a good resource. Caterpillars of Eastern North America. And so you can just see like how many different types of caterpillars we could possibly see. It's quite staggering. Okay, you got them all memorized? Good. But one neat thing is that you can look them up and index by the plant that you found them on, not just by the name of the caterpillar. So if you find something on like an oak tree, you could look up what caterpillars have their food plants as oaks, which is pretty interesting. Okay, realize we're running short on time, so let's make sure to show you guys two other things. One is one way you can look for or find caterpillars is just by looking at leaves, which we've done already and we're going to do a little bit more of. But also, if you have a net, you can use what's called the sweep technique. Just kind of running your net over the grass and other plants. You can even do that on tree leaves. Good, perfect. And then you can just kind of see, Yeah, you can lift it up if you want.
Got a lot of burrs.
Yeah, and then you just kind of turn the net inside out to see what may have popped up there in the bottom.
Nope.
So no
Nothing this
caterpillars on
time.
that one. But there are caterpillars that just eat grass. They're called the skippers. And I think we found some of those up the trail here. Let's go try to find those, and then we'll come back to our grand finale. Okay, so if you are a caterpillar that only eats like one type of a plant, you've gotten to know that plant over millions of years, how do you think your camouflage would be? Like, do you think those species have adapted to, I think it was that one up there, but we can look at both. Do you think the camouflage would be adapted to be better than a moth that can eat a bunch of different leaves? One more thing to think about. I think it was it this one or up there? There's some caterpillars we've been finding on these beautiful aster plants. They're black and very fast. So let me know if you see any. Maggie, you want to try to sweep along here? Okay, let's take a look. Got some grasshoppers. We're looking for caterpillars.
Caterpillars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You just saw a beautiful frog.
A frog? Okay, well, it's...
And how are the caterpillars?
Well, there's a grasshopper on my hand. Or something.
Yeah, we found some.
Oh, good. They're surviving.
They're surviving, yes.
Did you see the cold snap that's supposed to come next week?
No.
Maybe someone should tell them.
Hurry up.
Hurry up.
Okay, those other caterpillars have escaped, so we're gonna try to re-find one more very well camouflaged caterpillar that we found earlier. So those of you who are already caterpillar hunters, what are some of your secrets? How do you find caterpillars?
I just look for them.
Just look for them? Fair enough.
And
Anybody else have any?
sometimes I don't even look for them and I find them.
That's exactly what happened to Mia.
You could start by looking for what they eat.
That's what I do. Start looking for what they eat. Yes, exactly. Any other tricks or advice? Okay. So we got to find this exact tree that we were on before. I think it was this one. So we're now kind of in the woods here. And aha, we found it. So this is a caterpillar. Can everybody see it? I know it's a little dark.
I see it.
Okay, good. What colors do you see on there?
Green.
Green and a little bit of black.
Yeah.
Brown.
I see green and black.
Mm-hmm.
I see yellow. It's just
I
yellow.
see brown and a little bit of green.
Mm-hmm.
Brown
Thanks
and
for
green.
letting me. That's nice. Okay, I'm gonna put it back up the way it was and see if you guys can see it there. Pretty well camouflaged, huh? So the
yeah.
colors on it are pretty much the same. You know, it's got like the same colors as a leaf this time of year, which has some brown, like the leaf is starting to die off a little bit. And again, it's on the underside of this leaf. And this one is on a crabapple tree, actually. A pretty big one. So to figure it out, you know, we could start by searching for moth caterpillars that will eat crabapple leaves. But yeah, it's pretty cool. So basically when I'm looking for caterpillars, and I know we're almost out of time here, but basically I'm scanning leaves to see if there's any bite marks like this. And if I find some of those, I'll just flip it over, maybe try to check it out, what's on the underside. A couple of spiders under here. And you usually got to do that a lot because these caterpillars are really good at not being found. So, you know, even though you can tell this has been eaten by a caterpillar and so has this leaf here, doesn't mean it's still under there. So it takes a lot of searching. Okay, well, any final thoughts or questions? Maybe before you guys go, you could share with us like one thing that you learned about caterpillars on the field trip, or one question that you have now. So love to hear your thoughts on that if anybody wants to share.
Well, I learned that there are other kinds of animals that eat milkweed. I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. Awesome.
I see caterpillars like I live like in the woods, so I find caterpillars a lot. I haven't found too many monarch caterpillars. I found more of the fuzzy ones, like the woolly bears and the shingin ones.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I love those woolly bears.
Is there any animal that can eat?
That can eat what?
Monarchs.
Well, that spider was eating that one, and I'm not sure how they must have evolved a tolerance of that toxin as well. So I've seen one other spider eat a monarch caterpillar, but nothing else. So that'd be a good thing to look into if any birds can handle the toxin or anything like that. Great question.
Maggie, I think maybe wasps too. I remember last year we had some wasps lay eggs inside the caterpillars? So then the wasp babies ate them.
Mia's over here
I don't know.
Shaking trees to try to get more caterpillars. So wasps, that's interesting. I've never seen any parasites on the monarch caterpillars, so that'd be interesting to know about too. Anybody else want to share anything they learned on the field trip? Okay, well, I saw Emily just put something in the chat where if you see some caterpillars and take pictures of them, you know, you can put them up on a Naturalists, and other people will help you identify them. So it's an app or a website you can use, or you can just look at that link and see all the other crazy looking caterpillars and adult moths and butterflies that we have around here. It's pretty fun to just kind of look through those. And the last thing I'll mention is that this time of year, there's a lot of birds passing through that are migrating south, and they are eating a lot of caterpillars as they go. So it's a really important source of fuel for them on their migration. So There's a lot of reasons to love caterpillars.
There's one field that doesn't walk. Monarch caterpillars. For them. They don't eat them. And
That's right, they don't. Well, thanks a lot for coming, you guys. It was really great spending some time with you. Emily, anything else I forgot to mention that you wanted to add?
No, yeah, I was just gonna say thank you all for coming. Make sure to check out that link if you can. There's some really creepy looking caterpillars in our region that I didn't even know existed, let alone existed right in our backyard. So take a look at those and join us for a virtual field trip next week. We're gonna be learning about the changing of the seasons, which will be pretty cool.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Have a good weekend.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye. Bye.
Good job, everybody.